What's up? It's Andrew from the band Riff to Shreds, and today we are going to test if you can make Goregrind in a major key. There are a couple of very unconventional Goregrind bands that write melodic tremolo riffs that wouldn't be out of place in Greek black metal. For example, the most significant example, of course, is Lymphatic Phlegm from Brazil. The first example I can think of when it comes to a major key riff in Goregrind, like this bit from Show Off Cadavers. Which is E add 9 major arpeggio. Some other similarly strange Goregrind bands would be like County Medical Examiners or Blasted Pancreas. But at least to my knowledge, I have not heard something that sounds major. Extreme blasting band that have major riffs would be like Lycathia Flame. It's all over Elvenfriss. And I know some people cite Lipoma, but I don't think Lipoma is a Goregrind band. I think they are a death metal band that has pitch-shifted vocals. I guess to some people that counts as Goregrind, but I think you need to actually play some grindcore riffs. But Lymphatic Phlegm has their very unique, idiosyncratic style of riffing. So I want to see if I can do it HGT style. So I'm going to primarily use Lydian, sharp 4, which gives me a half step. And I've still got that major third in there. And I think I should be able to use that to create some melodies that are major but not like overtly happy. Also, another good one might be like, so just major with a flat 6 instead of a, in the context of like Goregrind or death metal, it'll end up being kind of like chromatic and mixing together a bunch of different scales without being strictly indebted to one or the other. But the goal is to maintain that major third tonality. So it sounds like a major riff. Whole step interval. That 2, 1. Already sounds kind of funny. If we just go straight for the major third. It doesn't sound very good. Let's try tremolo. I mean, that could work if I was like doing something like Mithras, but not quite right for Goregrind. Let's try playing with the major 7th, because that's a half step interval, so that sounds a little more evil. Okay. Okay, I think. Let's try and record that. I have it at 260 just because I think with a faster blast beat, it's going to sound more obviously brutal. If it was at like 210 or 220, that's still like Goregrind speed, but I don't know if it would sound like obviously Goregrind. So we have an A riff. Now we need at least a B riff and a C riff, maybe a D riff, and we'll just kind of see where it takes us. When I make a Goregrind song, unless I'm like specifically trying to make like a super driving, like Last Days type song where it's just da 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 da, and then maybe a couple of fills, and straight back to the da 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 da. I always like to break it up. Blast, either like D beat or skank, blast, D beat or skank. So there's like more of an ebb and flow in the energy of the song. Let's see. We had a. So the first 4 notes of the Lydian actually form a whole tone series, right? And if you kept going up with whole tones, I guess I'm not sure if I associate this as a whole tone sequence. I guess, I think it's just like a Lydian sequence. Like, I I generally try to not copy paste MIDI. I write it from scratch, but like some basic things, 16th note blast beat patterns, D beat patterns, or skanks. I don't need to write it all out every single time. I write in whatever symbols I want. This. Ba da da ba da da ba ba da 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 da. Okay, and I don't want to have it just like go straight back into the blast riff. I want to have like some kind of transition, and I'm going to build that off the drums because that's what I normally do. I mean, the simple way, just to like I have a simple, fill. Or if it's like a 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, the fours sound a little more natural. So a lot of my fill ideas I get just by watching a ton of drum cams. It's like fucking Brian Fajardo or Dan Rickman. Like Nick Barker has some pretty crazy fills. I mean, I watch drum cams for fun, but there's usually something you can learn in them, even if you are not a real drummer. I don't practice drums anymore. Where does it go? I don't want to go right back to the skank. Okay. So we've got the tritone interval there. But we're still getting the third. This would be like a ba ba da da da. Ba ba da 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 ba ba da 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 da. I'm not sure if I want a blast or DB. We'll try it with both. 1, 2, 3. Let me try with a blast. I mean, it sounds good with a blast, but I don't want to try with DB. Okay, I like it with a D beat better. But let's see what kind of cymbal pattern I want. As you guys probably know, there's multiple different kinds of D beats, like a really driving kind. I'm gonna leave this one as drum machine because I want this to be a short video. I don't want to hop on the kit. I need to replace all the heads because I got a couple of recording sessions lined up for the end of the month. But with the drum machine, riding on the crash sounds a little artificial, even if you play with the velocities. But on a real kit, riding the crash on the D beat is super sick. Hi-hats on the D beat, it's not the, correct way, according, to like the original Barucher's drummer or whatever, but it can sound sick too. None of the ride cymbals really have the right attack and ping for a blast beat, and also have the right kind of like washiness for a D beat. It's either like dry and pingy, or washy and jazzy, and I can never get it to sound the way I like with a drum machine. I'm going to go for the open sloshy hi-hat in quarter notes rather than eighth notes, especially because it's at 260 BPM. I know there are drummers who can actually play D beats at like 260 with the constant eighth note, and often I think they were taking breaks, like da 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 instead of straight da 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 da. Putting it in quarter notes makes it feel a little more playable and human. And this is returning to regular, using the natural fourth instead of the sharp fourth. Drop out just the riff, come back in with some ba 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 mince core accents, and then end it with blasting. And this is just something I picked up from watching drum cams of Dan and playing with Dan. But I love the way that he uses one hand to go between the cymbals on his mince core accents. So instead of like ba 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 da da da, it looks cool. I don't know if it sounds significantly different. I feel like you probably hit a little bit harder with your dominant hand. Maybe this would be just a little bit weaker, but I don't work on drumming at all. My left hand fucking sucks. So this way to go between the two crashes is actually a lot better for me to get a consistent string on hitting them. With cymbal catches, especially in drum machine, if you write every single one as a catch, pop, 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 it doesn't sound natural. With a drum machine, I find it better to, or at least with Superior Drummer, open 1, 2, 3, 4, and only the last one's catch. But on the actual kit, I think I'm fine with like doing a cymbal choke on every single hit. Okay, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to double it and record bass. I often don't play 16th notes on the bass. It doesn't sound good. The pick, attack, and how long it takes the actual pitch of the bass note to come out, it doesn't really make sense to a bass player to ever be playing 16th notes at a tempo like this. Most of the time, I play 8th notes. I have my bassist play 8th notes, unless there's a really good reason. Like maybe 180, 190 BPM, 16th notes are okay on like long, like bolt thrower type things, but tremolo melodies, stick to 8th notes. So usually what I do for vocals, I improvise, one take through, listen back, cut things up, move things around, and add in new sounds as needed. I think I'm more or less happy with that. I think it's not too bad because I'm playing a lot of this stuff down on the low strings. This is tuned to drop A. Some of the clarity of the intervals gets a little bit lost when you're tuned that low, and maybe it's not like immediately obvious to the ear whether you're playing a major third or a minor third or fourth or whatever, and it kind of like all mushes together. From that perspective, it's more impressive when Lymphatic Phlegm gets away with playing it in E standard in a higher register. I don't think I would make an HGT album that is like primarily this type of riffing, but I'm probably gonna have a couple of songs like this just because it's an interesting challenge. You guys, let me know what you think. Is this terrible? Is this okay? Is this something you've never heard before? This year might be a little bit lighter on videos. Sometimes you might only get 3 or even 2 a month because I am busy writing a lot of new things so I can have some exciting shit for you next year. But in the meantime, as always, eat ass, blast fast, and peace.